Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Welcome into a Football Friday, but we got baseball to talk about because it's a huge series with the Orioles, and the Rays got off to a big start last night thanks to Luke Raley and Pete Fairbanks. Let's hit that.
Crazy and went to the World Series.
Raley smashes this ball to deep center field. Luke Raley puts the Rays in front. Anonymous before the year. Not so now. Luke Raley hits a go-ahead shot. Here's the 0-2. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Pete Fairbanks blows them away in the ninth. And the Rays have closed the deficit in the East to 1 game.
I love it. It's music to my ears with the boos from the ball.
Oh, yeah. And who was that cheering the Luke Raley home run? Was that Smoltzy? Might have been Smoltzy. I don't know.
I believe it was.
I don't know. He's a closet Rays fan.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
We need to get him on the show sometime.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely get him on. I'm going to whoop his ass in fantasy this week. I don't know if it's this week or next week I play him, but he's in my division. So welcome in for another big Football Friday show. We're going to be talking baseball as well. Rich Hollenberg, Rays broadcaster, is going to join us at 11:45. We don't need Smoltz. We got Hollenberg today. That's
okay.
right. That's right. Yeah.
All right.
We also have Pat Burnham's going to check in with us for our FSU report, brought to you by Italiano Insurance, on his way to Boston to check out FSU and Boston College. Samar Ali is going to join us from the Loose Cannons podcast. Always love having him on to talk Bucs and Bears, as we got the home opener. I believe we have a tailgate party to stop by as well, and we're going to be doing our post-game show right there on the field afterwards.
Yes.
What else we got? Corey Long's going to join us at 11:30. Corey Long will join us at 11:30. Talk some college football. Get with all the state teams. Florida's got a huge game against Tennessee coming up, and I'm a little surprised. That the Florida fan base, the Gator fan base, is like, we need to win this one. Like, this is do or die for Billy Napier. I'm like, really? You want to go there that early? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So we got lots to get to here on this Football Friday. So good morning to you, Peter Blake.
Good morning.
Sure you were up late last night watching the Eagles, our next opponent for the Buccaneers.
I was.
Take down the Vikings, I had a nice little parlay with the Vikings in the over last night.
Oh,
Cheers,
very nice.
Yeah.
The Eagles didn't look necessarily like world beaters last night, but they did rush the ball. I mean, the Vikings stayed in the game, of course. I didn't think the Vikings were going to be able to stop them. I don't know what to think about both of these teams. Right now, the Vikings are 0-2. They got to dig out of a big-time hole. And, of course, the Eagles coming to town next week on Monday Night Football at 2-0, but not necessarily playing their best football, if you will, offensively.
And Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown getting in a verbal altercation on the sideline, and their coach, Nick Sirianni, acting like he never saw anything, even though he was in the middle of it. What a knucklehead that guy is. Good coach. But that was weird. Like last night, if you saw it, they were like, Sirianni was right in the middle of the altercation. It was just a verbal altercation. It wasn't anything. We'll make a big deal out of it this week because we're playing the Eagles.
Sure.
But Sirianni then in the post games goes, it was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. What? You were in the middle of it.
Right.
And then he was like, yeah, we're just going to keep that stuff private. Whatever, which is fine.
Right.
But, don't tell me you didn't know what was going on when you're right in the middle of it. This is what happens when you get when you're in a big city with crazy media. We're lucky here because our media is not crazy like in these other places. Or maybe you would, if you're in a big city, maybe you'd like to see that. But,
sure.
When the coach says, whatever, it's nothing, we just kind of go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Not in Philadelphia, not in New York. No, they're not going to just go with it. They're going to make a big deal out of it because they got clicks. They got clicks to get. They got ratings to get. All right, so we're going to get started here with a little baseball last night. Great win for the Rays. It was very interesting. Rich Hollenberg brought this up in a tweet he sent out before the game. Before the game, the numbers, the overall numbers of the Rays and the Orioles, batting average, ERA, it's eerily similar. And where they've been really, really different is in one-run games. That's the difference in where, because for most of the year, the Orioles had just a lights-out bullpen, and now things are starting to even up a little bit now that Bautista's out. So it's very interesting. It was not, in the one-run games, the Rays were 19-24 going into last night, and the O's were 26-13.
That's a big-time difference.
It's huge difference. Huge difference. And that's why the Rays' run differential is so much bigger than the Orioles, but they're behind, but only by a game now. So when you really look at these two teams, the difference in these two teams has been one-run games back end of the bullpen, and that dynamic has changed a little bit. Fairbanks has been lights out lately. He went through a little rough stretch like the whole team did in July, but last night he was freaking lights out. As the announcer said, who was with Smoltz last night? I forget who it was. Anyway, Brenneman, maybe. I forget.
No, it's Joe. I'm trying to think of who it is because he's calling the game on Sunday too, I believe, against the Bucs. Bucs, yeah.
But he was like, yeah, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Those are three just incredible pitches, and he was dominant. And that's what the Rays are going to need. And that's postseason baseball right there. When it's a one-run game, your bullpen has to come in and shut it down. And look how good this bullpen has been as I do the Tony Kornheiser right now. Poche, Armstrong, Stevenson, and Fairbanks, 12 up, 12 down. The bullpen is now 17 1/3 scoreless innings, and they've gone 34 innings without giving up an earned run.
Amazing. I mean, that's what you
winning
need.
Baseball. That's winning baseball right there.
Right. That's how you can win these close games. And like you said, the run differential, easy for me to say, is different, and it's important because when the Rays score more than 3 runs, we know the majority of the time they have an opportunity to win. But you can win those close games if your bullpen is pitching lights out. If Savali, who I thought wasn't bad last night, he's good. Wasn't right. He just wasn't as good as you need him to be, in my opinion. You need, again, 6-7 innings to save that bullpen. But when your bullpen is pitching lights out like that, it's gonna be tough to beat. So
yeah, and so I thought Savali was good. He was good last night. The hook was good.
Yeah.
Gave up the 1 home run to O'Hearn, and then the third was the 5th inning when they have the pop up bunt, and Bethencourt's got to get that ball, or somebody's got to get that ball. Those are critical mistakes that are going to cost you. And of course it did, because then they give up the runs, and it's an even ball game. And then Luke Raley, I mean, just like Randy the night before, late inning, tie ball game with a big shot for him. His first since August 24th.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to get him going again. But that was a 406-foot bomb that gets the Rays on top, and then the bullpen does the rest. And of course, October Randy, we got a highlight from October Randy.
Yes.
Another great at-bat from him, not trying to do too much.
On this 2-1 pitch, smashes a line drive into right. Into the corner it goes, and Arozarena's given Tampa Bay the lead. Diaz in to score. Here comes Lau. Toss will go to third. Arozarena's in there. 2-run triple, and it's 3-1 Rays.
I mean, and that's the big time key at the end of the day. I mean, he's not trying to do too much. You're not trying to take the ball out of the ballpark. You're taking what they're giving you. You're taking the ball to right field. And then on top of it, you're using your speed and athleticism to stretch the play to a triple. And you know what? The Rays missed out on an opportunity to score more runs. I thought they could have really knocked out the pitcher last night, but he was good also. They missed that opportunity, but get up 3-1 with Randy Arozarena swinging a hot bat right now. It's good. That's real good.
Yeah, and after that pop-up bunt, Adley Rutschman comes up, and I'm thinking, oh, this is where it gets – you're going to pay for that pop-up bunt that you screwed up, and Savali gets him to hit into a ground ball double play. That was huge. That was huge right there. They only get 1 run in the 5th when they had bases loaded, nobody out or 1 out?
Yeah.
That's huge. So, look, everything went the Rays' way last night that they needed to. They get a huge 4-3 win. And so now they're 1 game back. They're 1 game back of the Orioles. Like a sweep would be ridiculous to think, but if they can get the sweep, then they win the season series. And then if you tie at the end of the year, the Rays would have the tiebreaker, which is, in everything right now is about winning the division. You got to win the division. If you have any chance in the postseason for the Rays, they've got to win the division, get that first week off, get the 5 days rest, get your bullpen ready to go, set up your rotation. That's the only way they're going to make any noise in the playoffs. It's just too big of an advantage to get that first round bye. So far, so good. Now we got 3 games this weekend. You got to get it done. If they go 3-1, they still obviously have a decent chance to get to win the AL East, but a sweep would be magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. Problem is you lost 3 or 4 at home to the Orioles in that July swoon, the Wander Franco pending disaster July swoon. And that's what's kind of come back to bite them in the ass. But so far, so good. Big win here. And by the way, how about Randy Arozarena against the Orioles? Got a triple, 2 RBIs last night, batting .341 against the Orioles over the past few years, 16 home runs, now 43 RBI in 44 games. Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy, Orioles?
Right.
Who's your daddy?
You need him.
Randy Arozarena is your daddy.
Yes.
Yeah, he owns your ass.
Yes.
He owns your ass. So,
and by the way, we took a poll yesterday on how many games Rays fans thought the Rays would win in that series versus the Orioles, and overwhelmingly, nobody said sweep. 3 out of 4, 53.8%, 2, 38.5, and 1 or none, 7.7%. So 3 out of 4 right now. The Rays are on track for that.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they're right. Let's hope they're right. It looks good at this point, but it's only a 1-run win. A couple of things went your way last night. But it's going to be tough to sweep a team like this. But now, the O's have now lost 3 in a row, and they've scored a grand total of 5 runs in those 3 games. So, you may be catching them at a good time. Maybe this is finally the time when the Orioles start getting that sphincter a little bit tight, and the Rays can make their move. Because, look, the Rays have been in this position before. The Orioles have not. They got a lot of young players. They've not been in this type of a pressure situation. And that's big in baseball. Even though, the Rays got young players too, they've been in these situations in the past 4 or 5 years. They've been in these big playoff situations. So advantage Rays in a big series like this. The road doesn't seem to bother the Rays too much, even though they do have the best home record. So you want to get that home bye. You want to not have to play in the wild card round. And so far, so good.
Yeah, so far so good. I tell you what, let's go out to James Flash Ludeman. The intensity from the Rays last night was the story. Played the game like a huge game that it was. I mean, did you catch that? Because I kind of felt like that was how the Rays were playing. They were playing like it was a playoff game, and it's a playoff series.
Well, it was interesting to hear Cash after the game say, they haven't talked much about it publicly, but they've circled these games. And they were trying to set their bullpen up to be as fresh as possible, although Wednesday's game against the Twins didn't really let that happen. So they were trying to set it up and get in the right spot going into this game. And that's what I'm talking about, experience. The Rays know that these 4 games that's going to decide who wins the AL East. And if they get 3 or 4, they got a good chance. If they sweep the Orioles here, they're winning the AL East. To me, it is a fait accompli at that point, because that means you only have to tie them, and they'll have 12 games left after that. No way the Rays are going to blow that. No way.
Yeah, you also said the O's have the Astros next. So
yeah,
that's tough. That's going to be tough for the O's. So again, if the O's go into it, and it's all about momentum, right? In sports, it's always about that. And right now, you would have to say just from this one game and from this week right now, the Rays have all the momentum, and the O's, it's going against them. And you're exactly right. It could become a thing where, because this team is so young and they are so talented, but they are so inexperienced, that's a disadvantage on their part, especially when it comes to critical times like this.
Yep. So let's see. Be watching again tonight. Who's going tonight? Glasnow going tonight?
I thought it was Eflin. Eflin
tonight?
Eflin tonight. Yeah.
All right, let's go, Zach. This is what we paid you all that money for. Get your ass out there and shut down the Orioles. Give the bullpen a lead and let them shut the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start making them really feel the pressure. All right, I want to move on to the Bucs now because we got Sammer coming up, Sammer Ali at 10:30, Pat Burnham at 11 o'clock to talk FSU. We got Corey Long at 11:30 to talk college football and Bucs, and then Rich Hollenberg at 11:45 to talk Rays again. So, bad news on the injury front. Carlton Davis did not practice. I haven't checked today on the practice stuff just yet, so have not checked just yet. So we got Carlton Davis still on the injury list. Izzy, I believe, was back at practice, so that's good news. Kalijah Cansey, we're still kind of iffy on him. Not sure. Only was able to play 10 plays last week and had a quarterback hit, so not too shabby. Love to see him be able to play this week against the Bears. So Dave Canales yesterday had a chance to speak with the media, talking about the slow start. Always very interesting to hear from Dave. So let's cue that up and listen a little bit to Dave Canales on the slow start and how he feels like this team's going to get better this week against the Bears after having that resurgence in the second half.
Whew. Grace Thursday. This is like the big hump day for us. The plan kind of starts to build up a little bit. How we doing? What do we got? Oh, yeah. Yeah, excited. We got some cool stuff coming on third down. So.
Can you learn about this team that you got to see for 60 minutes of the game on Sunday?
Yeah, I was just excited to be able to play with our full first group, and really get those valuable reps. A 2-minute before the half, finishing the game in 4 minutes. So, those situations, you don't all the time get a 2-minute situation in a game. You don't always get a 4-minute situation. So that was good teachable stuff on film. And I think for me, it was really good to just feel the guys on the sideline. And the biggest comment I'll make is this feels like a winning team. And this is, again, I said it before, but there's a championship in the rearview mirrors. There's a lot of guys who were on that team. There was no panic early on, even with the slow start. The guys were just calm. They were like, okay, let's fix some stuff. Let's sit down, keep working. And then we just went on to the next drive, and it kind of stayed like that for a while as we figured things out.
What was it like for you? I mean, Brian Flores is well-known.
Yeah.
Defensive coordinators
Yeah.
control a lot at you.
Yeah.
You didn't get off to the fastest of starts.
Yeah.
So for you, as a play caller, at one point, I think Baker's 3 of 11 for 12 yards. What's going on in your head up there?
I'm looking at the call sheet like, whose plays are these? These suck, man. So, did somebody switch my call sheet up? No, for me, it was it was really cool for me just to go against a guy like Brian Flores. His reputation, he made it hard. He made it really difficult on us. He knew what I was trying to get done systematically, but we have answers, and we have tool belts, things that we've worked on for years in Seattle that we carried here. Baker and the guys mastered it beautifully and picked up a lot of good information and made adjustments, at the half. And I say that, but if Cage catches his seam route, right, they knocked that ball out. I should have went fast there so they couldn't review it. I didn't. We make that catch. We got an incompletion. I thought there was an easy completion on the first play of the game. The second one, he was hot. But we're 2 completions away from just kind of getting a couple of drives started. Then he probably still gives us problems somewhere in there. But, we missed Cole on the seam for the touchdown there. The throw was just a little bit high. So those 3 balls right there, we're telling a different story about that first. So that's where we just can't panic. And, I watch all the games. Some of them started really rough, just like ours. Some of the guys came out. I watched the Seahawks game. They come out just firing on all cylinders, and you just can't decide the game in the first quarter. So we just kind of stayed the course.
What jumped out to you as far as why the ground game? I know they stacked the box at times, but what jumped out to you as to maybe why the ground game wasn't more successful?
Oh, see, so I think that's where we define it different. So for us, run efficiency is 4 yards or better. So our goal is 50%. We were 52% efficiency in the run game. So I'm fired up about that. I don't think we had any negative runs. We might have had maybe one. We had 1 negative run. So, and the goal is 0 negative runs, but it's not uncommon in a zone scheme to have 3 or 4. So I come out of it, we're sitting there as a staff saying, hey, 52% efficiency, guys. That means we blocked everything right. That means we got the running back started. And now's where the volume, the experience, Rashad, getting those runs, seeing where those second-level voids are, Sean, Chase, really being able to, make it happen after the first level. So I was excited about it. And then just to be able to get into a 4-minute mode and run it, throw it a little bit, and then run it again at the end to take over the time possession, I thought the run game was fine.
Because that was your first time calling plays regular season. So what were some of the things that you really thought were positive, and then also kind of things that, like, well, I got to work on this, fine-tune this for next week?
Yeah, definitely. Positives were 0 turnovers, right? From the time I got here, trying to sell it to the guys. What if I told you if we won the turnover ratio by the end of the season, we're going to be 72 to 75% win? What if I told you that? And there it is. Vikings tried a little too hard at times offensively. They put the ball in peril. They gave it to us. We turned it into a couple points. We took care of it. We won the game. And I know there was a lot that happened in between in the 60 minutes, but even for coaches out there at any level, who are watching, when you win, the turnover ratio was 82% for us in Seattle. And so it'll be something like that for us if we continue to take care of it. So that's the first thing. The effort was fantastic. And then the finish. So trying to sell to our guys, our calling card as Bucs offense is going to be finish. Finishing plays physically. Baker, we're not talking to you. Everybody else finishes physically. You get out of bounds or slide. Yeah, that was good. He had him by a couple pounds. But then, just for us, it's about finish. So if you look at the end of half, end of game, that's what we did. And so I was really proud of that.
There's so many unknowns about this offensive line because so many moving pieces on that line. Just, Hainsey was the guy back in that original spot. But what did you see from that offensive line that I think a lot of people outside the organization were probably wondering how this offensive line was going to come together so quickly? I mean, it all starts with Hainsey, and him just getting everybody targeted to the right spot. Like, it's fantastic. It's around Austin Blythe, guys like Max Unger, Justin Britt. Can't leave Ethan out either. But these guys are really smart dudes. And when you have a guy in the center spot in the run and pass game, get them directed, then everybody can play with their best technique and their athletic ability. So that's what he did. And then we showed what we have is a bunch of athletic guys and then a massive left guard. And, we had a 13 duo that went for about 9 before somebody touched us, and just watching them just really handle an elite pass rusher like Daniel Hunter, and really with very little issues in the pass protection. And then, of course, from a scheme standpoint, we just didn't drop back a ton and put them in peril. We put it in their strength, in their wheelhouse, which is run that ball, throw some play actions and quick rhythm passes. So,
all right, welcome back.
Canales, and I think he hit on a bunch of really good points there. And this is something that the Bucs did not do last year, and that's run the damn football. Even when, Byron Leftwich would bail on the run time and time again, and even when you're not running it for huge chunks of yards, you're getting stuff done, and you're not putting the ball in peril. And in a game like that, where you're controlling the line of scrimmage for the most part, turnover is going to be the difference, and that's what happened. So, you can look at the total number of yards, which I think the Bucs had like 241 yards. But it's the way you get the yards, the time you get the yards, the plays that you make. The 3rd and 10, that's a huge, huge chunk play right there. It's not, necessarily, quote, a chunk play. But for 3rd and 10, the end of the game, to keep the ball and keep it out of Cousins' hands to win a game, that's a game-winning play. That's just as good as points on the board. The 3rd and 2, where you get the first down and keep the clock running in the 4-minute. Where Baker puts his head down. That's a huge, huge running play. It's only 4 yards, but that's a huge 4 yards. Every 4-yard gain is not equal, right? Every 10-yard pass gain is not equal. And if you're making the plays that you have to make to win the game, that's why the Bucs won and the Vikings lost. And you see it every week. So that's why, sometimes the stat geeks, they can look at the numbers and just get it all wrong. Oh, the Bucs offense is horrific. No, the Bucs offense was really effective when they needed to be. Sure, you'd like to score more points. There's no doubt about it. But those are winning plays. And I think those are sometimes more, give me those 2 key plays instead of, 40-yard chunk plays that don't end up in any points.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And it comes down to, for me, again, the numbers of balance, right? I mean, you run the ball 33 times. You pass the ball 34 times. That's the kind of offense you're going to have. And, maybe to some fans out there, it's not going to be the most exciting offense, but it's going to be effective, especially once again, if you win that turnover battle. If you have no turnovers if you're able to have balance to your offense, if you're able to, convert third downs, you're in a good place.
100%. All right, a couple other things I want to get to before we take a break for Sammer.
Yeah.
Eagles, Vikings last night. Obviously watching that game, knowing that the Eagles are going to be here next week, you had the sideline altercation, which was interesting because A.J. Brown only got 4 targets and he's pissed off. But look, man, when the Vikings are just giving you the run and your DeAndre Swift's taking chunk runs, sorry, dude, this is team football.
Yeah.
And this is what's great about Mike Evans. This is what's great about Chris Godwin. We don't have these issues. Anybody talking about the lack of targets for the Buccaneers last week to their wide receivers? Not that I know of.
No.
Certainly not Mike Evans. Mike Evans is not getting in a beef on the sideline with Baker Mayfield. So, I like where this is going for the Eagles. Get frustrated. Get frustrated and get mad at each other. There's 2-0. They're scoring points. You should be happy with that. You're getting turnovers. But A.J. Brown's not happy. Good. Be unhappy. Be pissed off all week because now you know what's going to happen.
They're going to try to force him the ball, and we've seen how this works before. When a quarterback tries to force him the ball or force the ball in that situation, there's turnovers that can happen because the defense knows it's coming. They know it's coming.
Yep. Yeah. That's last time Justin Fields, his rookie year, albeit played against the Todd Bowles defense, he got picked off 3 times. And then you have Justin Fields talking this week. He's got to be more aggressive and be more decisive.
3 turnovers, 4 turnovers, maybe.
Yeah, Todd Bowles is just sitting there going, okay, all right. Yeah, you need to be more aggressive.
Exactly.
Shut up.
Exactly, Tally. Tally's telling it.
He's already yeah, okay, be more aggressive, Justin Fields. Bark. That's all of the Bucs defenders are probably barking right now. This is coming. So interesting game last night. Thanks for the over and the Vikings covering there. That was a nice little parlay. Backdoor action. You love that when that happens.
Yes.
And by the way, the Justin Jefferson play, which was killing me, right? I'm like, I need more points and I need the Vikings to score. I don't know how they overturned it. First of all, they did not have a good angle to overturn that play. You know the one I'm talking about right before the half. He reaches out for the pylon, which once again, always iffy in those situations. But that ball certainly came loose. But I did not see a definitive angle that showed me it definitely went out through the end zone and not the sideline. It's a critical. I think they probably need to do something about that rule as well because it's too much of a penalty in my. And then the other thing that I think the rules committee has to look at is this rugby scrum, quarterback sneak that Jalen Hurts is doing because I said this last year and I heard who wasn't on Get Up this morning, Bart Scott say this about this. You know how the defenses are going to start reacting to this is taking headshots at the quarterback. Right. And once he's in a run position in a quarterback sneak position, he's a runner. So now you're begging defenses to start launching themselves and taking headshots at the quarterback, which is not what you want. So I would look for the rules committee, even though they looked at it in the offseason, they said they weren't going to change it. You're allowed to push him in. I don't know.
I don't see how you can change it. I don't know. I mean, do you call a penalty at that point? Is that an illegal formation? I mean, how do you do it? And there's going to be more teams that are going to try to copy this. And you're exactly right. If you're looking,
if you're the Bucs, if you're the Bucs, how do you not line up Vita Vea,
right,
and Tristan Wirfs
jumbo package,
right? Yeah, right beside Baker Mayfield, and just say, "Let's go, boys."
Yeah,
I mean that's coming. I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too.
Canales just said they had some interesting things on third down. I hope that's one of them. Let's get. So I mean, who was Vita Vea was the running back in high school. So Tristan Wirfs lead block, hand it to Vita Vea. Good luck with that.
Well, yeah, good luck with that. But hopefully, you knock on wood, you don't have an injury at that point. But you're exactly right. I mean, early on in his career, Vita Vea was a running back. He was also very athletic, and they used him in some of those packages with BA. You wonder if they're going to go back to that again.
I'd like to see it. I want to see a big man touchdown. We all love that.
Big man touchdown.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Samurai Ali's going to join us from the Loose Cannons podcast. I bet they're a little jacked up about the home opener. You think, the Loose Cannon guys?
Yeah.
You think that's going to be a little bit of a party for them? Little tailgate party? I think so. Let's get into that when we come back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Italiano Insurance, the Golden Diamond Source, Extravaganza Productions, and American Mortgage Services. Back in just a few. And the patio. Don't forget, Monday night, we will be at the patio 5 to 7. Great place to watch the Bucs game this week. Back in 3. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
So you're experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had. It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
JP Peterson Show. Don't forget to join us at the patio for Monday Night Football Party. That'll be 5 to 7 this week. Great place to watch the Bucs game on Sunday. If you don't have a ticket, head on over and watch in a unique environment beneath the palm trees on their great outdoor decks there. They've got an air-conditioned place inside, too, if you want to do that. It's going to be a beautiful day. Head on out there and watch the Bucs play at the patio. And we will see you on Monday night for Monday Night Football as well. All right, let's bring in our good friend Samir Ali from the Loose Cannons podcast, who I'm sure is having you guys having a tailgate party?
So we don't host a tailgate, but we are going to crash a couple of them.
Yes.
That's kind of the best way. I found out just kind of bouncing around.
It's like having a boat. Don't have a boat.
Yeah, a little bit of like a wedding crashers type of scenario. You never know where we're going to be or who we're going to pretend to be, but we're definitely going to be somewhere, and it's going to be fun. That's how I know.
Well, I'm going in. We do our Bucs reporting thing. Put your reporter hat on. We're got to be objective. But what is the tailgate scene like? Because I haven't done it in a long, long time. What's it like out there?
A lot of face painting people, a lot of costumes, a lot of food, a lot of meats. That's my biggest thing. There's a lot of meats, I'm there.
Yeah,
that's a massive part of it.
Smoked meats is a plus. Yeah,
grilled meats, anything as long as it's not boiled meats, I'm in. Like any sort of way other than boiled meats, and of course, there's lots of drinks everywhere. I'm not a massive beer guy, but there's most of these tailgates now got cocktails and also Crown and Coke.
Do you get hammered for the games?
Me, no. I have to be level-headed in order to talk trash properly. I can't be out there inebriated, unable to really yell and curse the way I want to and push all the limits of the club section. I can't do that if I'm not fully engaged.
Are you a tweeter during the game? Do you tweet during the games if you're at the game?
So when I'm watching games at home, like the away games, massive tweeting guy. But when it comes to the home games, it's difficult. Maybe like during those in-stadium timeouts that happen and commercial breaks, I'll probably thumb out a couple tweets, bang out a couple bangers. But most of the time, I'm too into the game and too focused on it, and it goes a lot quicker. It goes a lot quicker.
Yeah, if the game's in front of you, don't be having your phone out the whole time tweeting. Like, if you're a fan, go enjoy the game, enjoy the moment. Now, if you're at a college game, which I go to a lot of college games, you have 3.5-minute breaks. It's like my phone's dead by halftime because you have to tweet. It's like, what else are you going to do? It's like 3.5, and there's ridiculous college games.
During the drives and during the actual action, there's no time.
No.
One, I don't sit down. And two, like I'm already first I'm praising what's just happened, and then I'm getting everyone else jacked up for what's about to happen. Not just the players. And then I don't know if you know anything about my clap. I have this clap that resonates through the entire stadium. Dude, not that clap.
Nobody wants
I have the clap. I have the clap.
Are we breaking news here?
No.
You need an antibiotic for that? Do I need to get Chris Lugo from Bay Area Modern Medical Center to help you out?
No, you're gonna need earplugs. You're gonna need earplugs. That's all I know.
You have a clap. Okay, you have a clap.
Okay. A clap.
A clap.
Yes.
All right.
How many wings did we put away? That's what I want to know. Because I'm a wing guy. We talked about wings before on my show. How many wings have you put away?
So back in my younger days, I could easily kill 100 wings in like 45 minutes. But nowadays,
100 wings?
Yeah, dude, I was 110 pounds, soaking wet in college. I could just eat nonstop. Now, can't do that. I'll be very healthy 6 days of the week, and then Sunday comes around. Let's go. Let's get 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 wings in. But gotta watch the intake as you're going out to that in the heat, and hydration is more important than wings. When you're at a home game. But to your point, Peter, when I'm at home watching an away game, there's meats are plentiful and wings are definitely on.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by the crowd stuff because it's been a while since I've been to a Bucs game as a fan. So what are you on the west side? You got to be on the west side, right?
I'm on the East Club. I'm in the East
You're
Club.
in the East Club. Oh, you're on the Sun side.
Well, I'm tucked up nice under that one under the awning area.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah, I don't feel the heat. I got that beautiful AC coming in from that door that's constantly being open for no reason.
Oh, that's a great spot. That's a fantastic spot. So, all right, so you stand up now. Are you in the last row? Or are there people behind you? How is that?
This is the first year they've allowed me to move to where I can be in the very final row on the concrete, and it's like set up to where people with wheelchairs can go by. So I have ample space to run around, do my thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And now I don't have anyone behind me calling up security every, quarter and a half.
I was wondering, is that an issue if you stand the whole game, or is that an issue for Buck fans?
It's an issue because the people in club are so old and they're not usually the same people who bought the actual season ticket passes. So they're just like, it's not as great as I would want it to be. But I was also in a section that was not right in the middle. Now we're in the 50-yard line. I feel like I'm more in an area that I'm going to be around some good fans. And I tell them all the time, listen, you go watch at home on your couch.
That's right.
At the stadium, I'm standing up. Like I'm doing it the way I'm supposed. Like when you go to Green Bay, Pittsburgh, any of these other towns, the Cleveland Browns, they don't sit the entire game.
Sit down during the timeouts.
They don't even do that in Pittsburgh. They just stand the entire game. until they're down 20-0 the 49ers in the second quarter, then they have to sit down. Yeah,
man.
but that's a little bit different.
See, that's I'm with you on that. Like, if you can't. I'm sorry, you can't complain if somebody's standing up in front of you. You can't. They're watching the game. You know what? If they're standing up, you stand up. That's the way it works. When you go to a game, I'm sorry if you don't like that. Stay home. Stay home.
I used to wear a shirt that on the back would say, "I stand on defense." And it was just very easy to communicate to everybody. This year will be the first home game, so there's going to be some new people around us. I'm going to explain to them how I operate during the game so they understand what we're going to be doing, how we're going to be clapping, when we're not going to be clapping, the whole thing. I like to kind of give them a quick, just a quick run through of how it's going to be watching a game around me and my guys. And then everyone's happy after that.
That's great. This is going to be fun. No, I think you're right on the money there. Now you got some seats where you'll be free to roam around. So you're in a good spot. You're in a good spot. I like that. I may have to come down and say hello. Although I don't think we can get in the East Club on the West side with the press.
Tell them
you just walk.
Tell
down.
them the Samar Ali, and they'll let you right through. No problem.
Yeah. I'll just drop your name. Yeah. All right. Well, we talk football. Is this way much more? I like
this. Feels like the loose cannons. We're not even talking about football. We're talking about meats. We're talking about yelling at people. It's gonna be great.
By the time I get to Friday, I'm kind of X the note out. Be honest with you. So
yeah.
But I mean, a lot of people. We have some commenters are asking about the injuries. It looked Carlton Davis did not practice yesterday. Did not participate. He's the one I'm worried about the most. But it is the Bears. So DJ Moore was non-existent. He was non-existent last week.
Right.
I think they are going to try to force feed him a little bit, but that's
still
why
have Jamel Dean. We still have Jamel Dean.
Exactly.
Right. We still have Izin who can play multiple positions if needed, not just safety or backup safety and nickel. If they have to move guys around, I'm not worried about one wide receiver. And Carlton, if he practices today, he's probably going to go. Right. But if I'm the coach, I let him take an extra week off. It's the Bears. You have Jamel Dean, like I was saying. And listen, the Bears offensive line isn't going to protect that guy long enough for him to do anything to anybody. So, he could have Michael Irvin on one side and Megatron on the other, and it's not going to matter because those guys cannot block. Those guys cannot block. They cannot block. And listen, not to take a shot at Fields, you got to prove to me that you can even throw the ball, man. You're not a dual threat quarterback. You're a one threat quarterback right now. And you don't want to go against a team right now that one has a chip on their shoulder and is out there committing assault and battery against offenses just from what they did to Kirk Cousins and the Vikings last week. So, if I'm Fields, I'm working on those nets right now. I'm working on target practice. I'm working on quick release. Like I got to get ready because otherwise Devin White might murder him. Literally, he might get arrested on the field.
Okay,
well, I'd like to see Cansey play too, but of course he's injured too. So you don't want.
He hasn't practiced yet this week.
Yeah,
so
you don't want to take the chance, but I want to see like another kidney shot to a quarterback. I did it last week versus Kirk Cousins. That kind of set the tone there, Sammer. You'd like to see the same thing here against Justin Fields.
Listen, his 9 plays last week, he was very good for a rookie. For any defensive lineman to come in, those 9 plays were really, really good. That stunt that they ran ends up getting him wide open rushing lane. It looked like he was a running back trying to score. That's how open it was. So I think they're going to sit him precautionarily just to make sure that he doesn't have something that lingers all season long. And, you don't want to take confidence away from a rookie by sitting him and playing him and having him get injured because that does take a shot at that. Remember, Vita Vea, his rookie season went through the exact same thing. He also had the same injury, and it lingered and it went on longer than necessary because I think they kind of forced the issue, and he was also a slow healer back then. So TB12 helped him, by the way. So I think they let him sit another season here, or not another season, another game, and let all these other guys have a little bit of fun. We saw Mike Green come in there, 91, I believe his number was. He played a great game against the Minnesota Vikings. We didn't even know who the hell he was. So I think Jason Light's offseason approach of loading up with pass rushers and guys on the D-line, it's paying off right now, and it allows guys to have a little bit more flexibility to take their time to learn and come back from injury.
Sammer, did you like what you saw last week with Logan Hall and JTS?
JTS looked like he was in place where he was supposed to be. He looked like he was making play. He wasn't lost. He was active. I thought he looked fast.
He knocked 5 yards off the ball.
Yeah, he looked good, honestly. I didn't have any complaints about him. I know some people
he's got a little bit more ass this year. He's got a little bit more ass.
And in terms of Logan Hall, he made a couple of plays. He made a run stuff for I think a 2 or 3 yard loss.
Yep.
Listen, he's shown up more than he has his entire career so far in that one game against the Vikings. Did he play a perfect game? No. Did he splash up? No. But baby steps with this guy. It's a little bit unfair what people are expecting from him. This is supposed to be Will Golston, not Warren Sapp. So let's just take a little bit of a break there. Let's let the guy develop. There's no need to put so much pressure on it. But I did like overall the team defensive speed was just unbelievable.
They were flying around.
And they were angry. Angry.
Which I like. Now, offensively, be honest. Were you one of those guys, because I got about 6 texts personally on this, this offense sucks. Baker sucks. This is awful. I knew this was going to be bad. And I'm like, relax. It's the first half. They played for a minute 30 in the entire preseason together, which was stupid. But that's it. It's going to take some time. Just relax. And it's not even going to be great the first few games. You just got to win the games on defense. But so were you one of the guys panicking in the first half? Be honest.
No, absolutely not. Because I knew that this was the first real speed that these guys have been playing together as not just an offense, but an offensive line. That offensive line together, that takes time. You don't just put guys together and they turn into the Philadelphia Eagles line from last year. It doesn't happen. You even saw the Kansas City Chiefs, which everyone thinks is an amazing offense. Their offensive line struggled. Their offense struggled. Should the Bengals bench Joe Burrow?
Absolutely.
I mean, what are we talking about here? Those guys didn't play. A lot of offenses are shaking rust off the first week and a half because they don't play in preseason like years past. I said that was something I was afraid of, but I was more impressed with the bounce back, with the ability to respond to adversity, but also the adjustments that we made in game. Not even waiting till halftime. Canales had a plan. He almost had 2 game plans. And when he found out that Flores was basically prepared for the rollouts, prepared for the 5-step drop, wasn't allowing Baker to sit back there and pick them apart, he said, okay, let's adjust. Let's go to some shorter passes. Let's call some screens to kind of keep this defense honest a little bit.
Let's run the football.
And you saw them kind of roll a little bit. The run game isn't perfect yet, but they got some decent 4 or 5 yard gains. When they needed to run and you knew they were going to run, they did. And that's impressive because not only are they doing it in Minnesota where it's loud, where it's a difficult place to play, it's week 1, but they did it against a team that's a better team than them apparently on paper, right? They're supposed to be better, and they were out physicaling them, which is a massive improvement over the last 2 years, honestly. Even if we go back to that second year with Tom, we weren't a more physical team than other teams, and that was massive to me. And then, the other thing I noticed right off the bat was how disciplined and how focused the team was. That's massive improvement from last year to this year. Todd Bowles has to take credit for that. He has to. And Canales also brings his own accountability to that side of the ball. And that was, I was extremely impressed. The coaching was the most impressive thing for me.
Bowles showed some onions, and I loved it. And we've talked about this in the preseason, that Todd Bowles has got to be better. He's got to be better. He's got to be more aggressive. He can't be one of these, defensive coordinators that doesn't take chances and blah, blah, blah. 4th and 1, 30-yard line, let's go. 57-yard field goal to win it, let's go. It's his first team. It's his first time actually putting together the team that he wants here, right? Last year, if you don't trust Byron Leftwich, are you going to say, hey, go for it? Why would you? He's not going to scheme a great play to get you that 1 yard, right? Like when you go for a 2-point conversion, that needs to be your best 3-yard play, right? You don't know what Byron's going to do in that situation. And if you don't trust him as a head coach, why would you go for it? So you kind of have to settle back and take the safe approach just because you have no choice. But you could tell he trusts Canales. He went for it on his side of the 50-yard line by 20 fucking yards. I mean, come on. That doesn't happen.
That's amazing. What's your reaction? What's your reaction to Baker running? I mean, I want to know what it is. You see him, he's putting his shoulder down.
Oh, he's a dog, dude. Listen, you got to have guys on this team, and in the NFL, you got to have 2 things in order to win. You got to have a quarterback that hates to lose, and you got to have a quarterback that is an absolute dog and has a competitive nature that just drives him beyond logic and reason, right? And you can have tons of guys who love to win. But there's a difference. Loving to win and hating to lose are 2 very, very different things. And Baker hates to lose. If he wins by 3, he's not satisfied. And you know what? That trash talk that comes with him, the fun that he has, like he is a child on the field. And now that he's a little bit more mature, he understands how to be a leader and still has fun with it, man. Absolutely. Listen, don't kill yourself. Don't get injured. But when it matters and you need to get that 1 yard on 3rd down, he goes and gets it. Dude, that goes That goes miles in the locker room. That goes miles on tape. And it rejuvenates, it just gets everybody rolling, dude. It's like Mike Allstott running guys over.
Yes.
That's what he was doing.
Yes.
I'm about to say he's running guys over, but that aggressive, hate to lose mentality, that is conducive to wins and confidence, and it gets guys going, man. The guys love that. They absolutely love it. And I 1000% love it. Like he's a dog.
Get your weight up, boy. Get your weight up.
He's a dog.
You saw the Bucs put it out with him going down the sideline before the 4-minute. He's like, we're not effing giving the ball back. We're not effing giving the ball back. We're going to effing throw it down right down their throat. So I sent that to Rondé, and he's like, this dude! Exclamation point. He loves him. He loves him some Baker Mayfield. Defensive players love him. The offensive linemen love him. I'm telling you, man. Look, I hate to compare him to Brady, but I'm telling you, Brady was a leader in a different way. These guys follow their quarterback. They follow this guy, and they love him. And that's a huge thing, man. That brings a vibe to a team that just is special.
Absolutely.
And this team needs that.
Absolutely. Not only the vibe of his confidence and his dog mentality, like the Eagles coach likes to say, but his chip on his shoulder is not just his chip on his shoulder now. This is a collective chip on his shoulder type of team. You saw it in that post-game locker room video. The entire team is completely bonded. This wasn't what you saw last year. You could talk to multiple players, and they'll tell you exactly what I've been told. This team was not a brotherhood last year. This team is. He's walking in the locker room, and they're chanting Baker, Baker. Then Vito enters, and they're chanting Vito. Like, there is a collective, like an entire group of 53 men that has inside jokes that they all understand. And on top of that, they believe in Todd Bowles. They will die for Todd Bowles. And you saw Todd Bowles get a little bit loose in that locker room video. Did you not?
They did.
They are bought in. They have a collective chip on their shoulder. And the more they win and the more people refuse to give them credit for it, the more that firewood is going to grow higher. And they're just going to keep stacking it and keep stacking it. And they're going to keep using it as fuel. And as they win and you doubt them, it only makes it stronger because now they're vindicated. Now they're like, check this out. We're going to do it even harder now. So the more that this rolls, like momentum is a real thing in everyone's human life. It's definitely a real thing in football. And it's definitely a real thing in a locker room and confidence. Like, it is just awesome to watch. And I'm just excited to see how it grows because they are legitimately bonded together. It's amazing. It's awesome.
See this from Harry, Peter, and
Sammer.
Yes. Baker is Jimmy Mack 2.0. Jimmy McMahon.
Yeah.
He's got a little Jimmy Mack in him.
I'll take that.
I don't know how good of a thrower of the ball Jimmy was back then, but
yeah. Oh, Baker's a way better thrower of the football than Jimmy McMahon. 10 times better. Probably spends less time in the strip clubs too.
It's just the attitude of the whole team, like you're talking about, galvanizing the locker room. Are you looking for? Or can we say to you? Would you like to see Vita Vea in the jumbo package there, like they do with Jalen Hurts? Because we're talking about that.
Listen, if you're gonna put Vita Vea on offense, I don't care to see him push someone else into the end zone. No, I want him to get the ball. I want you to line him up
the damn ball.
All right. Put Keefe there in front of him, or put Aaron Stinney in front of him. I don't care who you put in front of him, or just put nobody. Just get out of the way and just let him rumble. I'm guaranteeing he's going to get at least 2 yards. I mean, he falls forward, he's getting 5. So just give him the ball. You know what would be awesome? A play action and have him sneak out after as a fullback, and then he's like. I would not put that past Canales. He comes from that Seattle team that love to have gadget plays built into their stuff ever since they hired Pete Carroll. So you can see him line up at fullback,
can you
run
imagine
play action and pitch it out to him? Absolutely.
Can you imagine being a corner playing zone defense and they throw a ball out into the flat to Vita Vea and he catches it at the 5-yard line? Like, what? Like,
business.
Not only am I not tackling him, I'm heading for the first row. I'm like doing a Lambo leap while the play is still going. Yeah, get the F out. You got he has a head of steam. You got no chance. Zero chance to stop him.
Unless you try to chop him at the knees, which I don't want to see happen. But listen, Donald Penn, no offense to him, love that guy. He is not half of the athlete that Vita Vea is. And he caught a touchdown in the corner of the end zone, wide open before. So I could see them sneaking him out behind people. No one's going to pay attention to him if he lines up at tight end. And, He checks in eligible, that whole deal. Like, he could sneak one in. This is the year for it to possibly happen. It wasn't going to happen last year, that's for sure. But this year, I could see it, man. The whole stadium would explode.
The Bucs did the same thing with Sapp, 20 years ago?
And he did the booty dance. Did the Beyonce booty dance? Remember?
Yeah.
One of the greatest celebrations of all time. That was. I could see Vita. Vita would have something too. Vita would have something for you. He's a playful dude. He's got something cooking. I'm telling you, we're going to see.
He never scored. He's never scored. So absolutely, he might do that mowing of the lawn celebration, but he might do the entire end zone. Just like how when you mow your lawn, you just do the entire deal.
I thought he had a touchdown.
I thought he did too. I thought he did too. A BA at 19. Did he not? Let me check.
He doesn't have any offensive touchdowns. No,
I think he does.
No. If he has a touchdown, it would be on defense, if anything. He's never scored an offensive touchdown. Absolutely not.
Why am I thinking that?
Because you're thinking Donald Penn. You're thinking
that's what I might be thinking about Donald Penn.
You're thinking any one of Andy Reid's offensive linemen who have done it in multiple spots in Philadelphia and Kansas City. It's happened with those guys. It hasn't happened down here. Not with Vita.
Canales has got that in him too. I agree. And you heard him on the press conference. Ooh, we got some good stuff for third down. You better, because you weren't very good on third down last year. I hate to sit here and say this, but because we have been confident. I know there are many in the media that just didn't see this Bucs going up to Minnesota and winning. Obviously we said it with our chest on this show. I don't want to go here, but God, if we were to lose to the effing Bears at home, and listen, folks, that can happen. This is the NFL. Week 1 is a liar. But I still think this is a good football team. But God forbid, if that were to happen, Justin Fields and the freaking Bears coming in here, Sammer, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be around you. I can tell you that.
Listen, turnovers are a massive equalizer in the NFL.
Exactly. Yes.
But this defense of the Bears is not a defense that it doesn't. They don't force their will upon you. They're not a very physical team. They don't cause turnovers. Like, this isn't the Bears of Urlacher. Yeah. This is the team that the Bucs will get their running game going against. They'll get kind of on track. It'll be almost like a scrimmage. Some good will happen, some bad will happen. But it'll be a good learning experience for them to get their feet wet and really feel out the run game. You could tell that they were tentative from the running standpoint and the blocking standpoint in that game last week. They were still physical at the point of attack, but you could see that they were still learning the scheme. It's a totally different blocking scheme since BA and Jason Light have been here. So it's a completely different approach. So it's going to take a little bit of time, and the Bears might be the perfect antidote for that. And again, I don't unless Baker implodes, I don't see how they even lose to the Bears, weather being a factor or not. I just don't see it, man. I can't see them scoring. We only gave up 17 points to the Vikings, and that's a good team. That's a good team.
Look how many they scored last night. All right, Sammer, tell everybody where they can get the Loose Cannons podcast and all the great stuff you got going on with the trips and everything.
Yeah, so you can find our show and our new Loose Cannons network on youtube.com/@Loose Cannons podcast. We got a ton of cool shows all throughout the week now. We got a fantasy football show. We got a league-wide NFL discussion show. And, of course, the Loose Cannons podcast with everything Bucs, meat, baby oil, everything that'll make you feel good inside. And, of course, if you want to travel with us to Green Bay, the frozen tundra, it's a 2 or 3 night packages are still available. LooseCannonsTravel.com. It's as low as $595 a person if you travel in a group of 4. It includes your hotel, which the team is also staying at. It includes your Saturday night VIP party where any Buccaneer, past, present, or Jason Light could show up and party with us. Includes your Sunday morning tailgate. And then you walk across the street into a lower bowl ticket at Lambeau Field. If you buy a 3-day trip, you also get a Saturday morning stadium tour of Lambeau. 90 minutes experiencing history. And it's just going to be an amazing trip. It's going to be cold as hell, but it's going to be amazing. It's all inclusive other than your flight. So check that out, LooseCannonsTravel.com. And come party with us, man. Just hanging out with myself, my brother Latte, and my brother Stanker is more than enough. And we also throw in all that other crap.
That's a bonus. That's a bonus. The big bonus.
The other stuff is the bonus, honestly. The game, the hotel, all that's free basically compared to what you're taking out of us. Come on.
Best deal in the world. Best deal in the world. All right, brother. Enjoy the game on Sunday. We'll talk to you next week.
Go Bucs, 45-10.
Go Bucs 45-10. Wow.
Oh, there you go.
Aggressive.
Wow. All right.
That's
Thanks,
aggressive.
Good stuff.
That's aggressive. All right. Quick break. We are brought to you by the great folks at the patio. We will be there on Monday night, 5 to 7 o'clock with our Monday Night Football Party remote brought to you by White Claw. So come join us for that. And if you're going to not go to the game at Raymond James Stadium, go watch the game at the patio underneath the trees, that beautiful place, the palm trees there, right there on 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy on McDill. All right, back with some Florida State talk, the Italiano Insurance FSU report coming up next with Patrick Burnham from the Osceolas. Stay with us.
Gold coins sitting around the house. Well, the Gold and Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
Come back to the JP Peterson show here as we hit our 11 o'clock hour, and it's time to talk a little bit of college football. By the way, patio is a great place to watch college football. The Tampa Gator Club, that's the home for the Tampa Gator Club. I think they'll probably be a little packed on Saturday night when the Gators take on Tennessee. Whoa, it's going to be a big one, but we're talking Florida State football. It's the Italiano Insurance Florida State Report, and our good friend Pat Burnham from the Osceola, the Rivals Network, joining us now as he drives down beautiful I-10 heading to Jacksonville to get to Boston. What's up, Pat? How are you?
Man, just about to get to the airport. Looking forward to getting up to the Northeast and having a little lobster and have some wicked good fun, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have a much of a Boston accent. I was going to try to do one for you, but I just don't think it's going to work out.
No, you're too much of a redneck to do that. That Boston accent, that park the car, they're not Harvard Yard. You're definitely not a Southie, no doubt. But that's a good thing, though. All right, so this game with Boston College has given FSU fits. Mostly when Adazio was there, and he had those mammoth offensive lines that would bully our defensive line, which wasn't too good at the time. So they kept it close with that. I was always, worried about Boston College, but I think this is a different type of Boston College team. What's your read on this team?
Well, this is a Boston College team that's very lucky not to be 0-2. They got a couple breaks towards the end of that Holy Cross game, which really they were fortunate to win. They were very undisciplined in that game. A lot of not tic-tac-y, stupid personal foul penalties. They had guys that were not dressed out, shoving guys from Holy Cross on the sideline. The quarterback made a couple of mental mistakes, taunting people, and you're getting beat by Holy Cross. You probably shouldn't be taunting anybody. But, yeah, they certainly have been uncharacteristic of Jeff Hafley's teams so far, which are usually very well coached, very attention to detail type teams, and they have not been that this year. And then, of course, they've had to replace the quarterback coming out into the year. They've gone to Thomas Castellanos, who actually was recruited by Florida State as a running back and is a very good athlete. But and the defense has given up run yardage, 217 yards a game. And again, playing Northern Illinois and the Holy Cross over the season, that's doesn't bode well for Boston College with Florida State's. It's going to be, is Mike going to run the counter or going to run the zone?
Yes.
That's the biggest question coming into this game for Florida State. But listen, I think the weather conditions are probably going to dictate, at least from what we're hearing now. Listen, with this storm front, it could change 1,000 times, and it has since Monday. But I don't think this is the Boston, particularly if it was ideal conditions. I don't think this would be a Boston College team that you would associate with the games you're talking about, JP. I think this is it's a no chance game if Mother Nature doesn't help them out, right? But anything can happen. Mother Nature is a great equalizer, but I think it would take Boston College having a turnover advantage of 4 or 5 turnovers they just have not been very good so far this year.
Yeah, so the 26-point spread that I laid, I feel pretty good about it. But yeah, if it's a freaking hurricane.
About that, JP, is Mother Nature is a fickle mistress.
Yeah,
you better be careful with that.
That is a lot. That is a lot of points.
Hurricane Lee may be the one that's causing it. But you talk about that quarterback situation. It certainly seems like they found somebody. He's led the offense to 7 touchdowns, 2 field goals, and 18 drives compared to Moorhead. In the first place. I mean, what does he bring to the table that could possibly, give FSU's defense some fits, in your opinion?
Well, listen, he's mobile. He can make plays with his feet and with his arm. He showed against Holy Cross that he can be a very accurate passer. He was 17 of 23 and fit the ball in some tight windows. And he's a guy that Florida State was interested in as a running back. So, and you watch him, he can definitely create plays with his legs. He's very elusive. He's got great lateral movement. So listen, they're going to have to keep him contained. He's our leading rusher right now. So he's as you said, he's been the small offense, and he's the first guy they've got to shut down because when they shut him down, I don't think they're going to be without their returning starter Galro, the running back. He's probably unavailable. Hafley said he was definitely questionable whether he would play earlier in the week, and then. You had the Robichaud kid who looked good against Holy Cross, but again, this is not going to be Holy Cross defense that's coming into stadium. This is going to be a defensive front that we think's got a chance to be dominating as the season continues. So, I think it's going to be a tall task for Boston College.
Patrick Burnham joining us here in the Italiano Insurance FSU report. What did you learn about FSU against Southern Miss in that that fest where they just hand the ball off to Trey Benson? He's going to get 9 yards a clip. I mean, that to me, if they could be that dominant against teams in the run game, that's another sign that FSU is back to their old offensive tricks. What'd you learn?
Yeah, well, listen, we learned that they took care of business, right? I mean, Southern Miss was not a very good football team. This game was over going into the half, even though Florida State was not clicking on all cylinders on offense. Jordan Travis was not particularly sharp. And listen, and we're being hypercritical, right? To come out faults in a game where Florida State should have scored 80 points because you had 2 touchdown passes that were dropped in that game. So, and if Johnny Wilson had made more catches, you got more extended drives. So they weren't particularly sharp on the offensively. Now, defensively, they were good from the get-go. Southern Miss never had a chance. And so I think in the totality of what it is this a team that came out a little bit of as there should have been emotionally coming off LSU. Right. So, so we're really nitpicking here, right? Because, Jordan Travis wasn't as sharp on third down, but Lord, he made great plays on fourth down. There were 4 or 5 on fourth down. We've learned that Mike's going to be aggressive always.
Yes.
So, we did learn that, but I think you learned that this team, even though it was probably not as sharp as particularly on offense, particularly in the first quarter, I think it was one of those things where the short week was not the same opponent as it was the week before, but they did come out and do exactly what you wanted. It with 66-13. So, that's what you want to see. That's what a great team should do. And it was certainly a superior team to Southern Miss, who was unbelievably undisciplined. I cannot believe I saw at one time they had more penalty yardage than they had total offense.
Jeez.
Going into the third quarter. So, and then the other thing, JP, we probably learned in the second half is they've got some really talented younger kids who could potentially turn into players, whether you're talking about a Ventrevious Jacobs or a Blake Nicholson. We saw Hussey first half play a little bit. Conrad looks like he's got a bright future. And then Quindarius looked really good at corner there in the second half. And then obviously Edwin Joseph I had him down for 2 pass breakups. And we had talked also preseason about the fact that there's a lot of potential in that backfield. And then, we got to see Keziah Holmes at running back for the first time. And you saw the depth they have at running back between he and Rodney Hill. And obviously Toa Feely, he's not – there's no surprise there. He's not a backup per se. But, so certainly you got to see the depth there. And listen, there were some good-looking young offensive linemen. I was really impressed with Jalen Early, who played tackle. He's a guy that can play tackle or guard for Florida State. I think what we learned there is maybe he's FSU's 4th best offensive tackle. I think, I know a lot of people love to talk about Armella, but Jalen Early was not as highly recruited as Julian, and Julian's got a chance to be a really good player. But I think that was a surprise to me that not that he's not going to. I'm just surprised that he played as well as he did in his first real action. You got to be happy for a guy like Thomas Schrader, who played particularly well in his time on the field in the second half and has fought off some injuries, and a guy that showed a lot of promise before that leg injury as a true freshman. And he's a guy that kind of gives you that nasty streak you want to see in your offensive line. So I think probably what we learned is Mike has recruited very well based off what we saw in the second half.
Speaking of potential, are you surprised here, Pat, that the Florida State missed out on defensive lineman 5-star plus Armando Blunt, who chose Miami instead of Florida State? How disappointed do you think Florida State is by that?
Well, listen, it's way early. Armando's there's a lot of road to hoe. Florida. He was at my understanding, he was at the Miami Texas A&M game, which sometimes these kids make emotional decisions. He might not be as excited about going to play Miami after watching the 5,000 people that showed up for their game last night.
That's right.
Florida State's got some big games left, and I think ultimately, with him particularly being so far off, listen, I think the win totals by these teams are going to have a huge impact in head-to-head recruiting battles. But I think there's going to be some things that Florida State, if they have the kind of season we think they're capable of having, might be able to sell over Miami, and in particular the atmosphere that you play in. But no, I think we know these commitments these things have a way of changing in college football. They had before the NIL, and the NIL, in my opinion, has made the fluidity of these commitments more so than it ever has been before.
It's a very good point. And Miami has to come to Tallahassee, and we'll see if he's still a Miami recruit after that particular game. You're so right. And this is always going to be Miami's challenge. I mean, last night watching that game, there's just nobody there, and it wasn't that great a crowd for the A&M game either. And that's always going to be their challenge until they do something with an on-campus stadium or a close-to-campus stadium or get some atmosphere. That's going to be the challenge for Miami, because it's, kids go to these bigger schools and they see these crowds and they go to Hard Rock Stadium, and, there's a lot. Everybody's got NIL money, right, Pat? So it's in the big school. So it'll be interesting, but that one's definitely not over. All those guys you talked about, Pat, the younger players. I mean, this is, we can get excited about FSU football this year, and we are. But as you know better than anybody, that's how you keep a program going. So when you see these younger players step up, like the Nicholson and some of these others, you get it. Not only do you get a great feel for what's happening this year, but that Florida State might be able to sustain this, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, listen, that's what it's all about, right? We've always talked about the fact that winning is your biggest seller in recruiting. They came off a 10-win season. Obviously helped them in the portal with guys like Braden Fisk and Keon Coleman, but certainly what we've seen with this class that they have now for 2024, they're 21 players deep. They look like a really good class. You got a couple of 5-stars in that class. With KJ Bolden and some of those other kids. So yeah, listen, I think that Mike works very hard, and he and his staff work very hard in recruiting. And when you put that work ethic that they do with the winning record and the Florida State brand, they're going to continue to stockpile talent, and we'll see it both from the high school levels and through the portal, because I think they're going to have to go into the portal this offseason when you start looking back at the roster and who may or may not be back on this team next year. And let's enjoy this season before
exactly.
But listen, it's
Boston College Week. Come on,
That's right. Yeah. Hey, listen, and listen, it's red bandana game. They're going to come out with a little bit more in their stinger, and they're going to feel like the weather might help. They're going to feel like they got an ally in the weather if it's bad. So, and you don't ever want to overlook anybody, right?
Never, of course not.
Listen, I'm not. I tried to get it to a 15-point game and my prediction, and I just could not sell myself on it being that close. So, listen, I think that Florida State's going to go in there. I think they're going to find some big plays in the passing game because of what they're going to be able to do running the ball against Boston College, and I think they're going to go into Clemson 3-0.
All right, partner. Well, listen, travel safe up to Boston. Head on over to the Italian district there. Get you some good pasta tonight and enjoy yourself in Boston. Got an early call tomorrow.
We do have an early call, and if you're up early in Tampa and want to watch our pregame show, we're going to do a live pregame show on the Osceola YouTube channel. We'll have former Florida State greats Mark Salva, Bill Reagans, and Kez McCorvey join us for our.
Wow! All right, that group right there. Are you kidding me?
Hold on, I gotta do this.
True college game day. You give me Salva, Kez McCorvey.
Love it.
You tell all those gentlemen I said hello, and we miss him here. We get him on. I think we had Kez on the show a couple of years ago. Great dude. Love him. All right, partner. Have fun. Travel safe. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, buddy.
Appreciate you, Pat. There you go. Good stuff there. So
Italiano Insurance.
Yeah.
FSU report.
Boston College. You don't think there's going to be any letdown? I mean, even with the weather situation, weather doesn't concern you here?
Of course it does. You got a hurricane moving in. It could be an issue. But, this is about running the football. And this is when you can just bully teams like they've been able to do. This is not a big physical Boston College team like we've seen in the past. Yeah. And FSU is big. And this is what leads to blowouts, is when you dominate both sides. FSU's skill players have been good for years and years and years, not as good as they have now. but it's been the offensive and defensive line that made them swoon for so many years. And now they've got dudes on both sides of the line. So when you play these teams and these huge point spreads, you just line up, you turn around and hand off the ball. And they've got, at some point, they're going to commit, 7, 8 guys in the box, and then you throw it over their head. You just pray that Johnny Wilson catches the ball. Because, that's the only thing that can get them beat is stupid stuff like that. But 26 is a lot when the weather's like that. So maybe I'll back off a little bit on that wager. But who knows?
Well,
the
talent is there
for both teams, right?
Yeah, I mean, the talent is there at quarterback. I mean, he talked about it. Thomas Castellanos. I mean, that was a guy that Florida State recruited. So,
as a running back.
Wow. Now he's a quarterback. So,
yeah.
Good luck with that. Good luck, right? Yeah.
Good luck with that.
All right.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Corey Long's going to join us at 11:30. We'll talk some Florida. Tennessee, that's going to be interesting. And Rich Hollenberg at 11:45. We'll get back to some Rays and Orioles talk with that huge series. We're brought to you by the good folks at the Patio. Great place to watch college football and professional football this weekend. Great happy hour from 3 to 7:30. $1 off wine and beer, and they're already low prices. And, of course, we'll be there on Monday night with our Monday Night Football party from 5 to 7. So join us for that. Back in 3. Stay with us.
The Mortgage Guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the Mortgage Guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. Have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
to the JP Peterson show here on this Football Friday. Getting excited for the weekend.
Yeah.
It starts early.
It does.
By the way, first of all, College Game Day starts at 9 o'clock. Is my favorite show on television. They're in Boulder, as is Big Noon. So both of the competing pregame shows are both in Boulder for the Colorado State game. How about that?
Well, yeah, and there's already intrigue to that. You heard about the comments yesterday from
what an idiot.
What is he doing? Like, what?
If you haven't heard this,
what's he doing?
Making the spread go up. If you haven't heard this, Jay Norvell, no relation to Mike, I don't think, the coach of Colorado State, thought it would be funny or a good idea to take a shot at Deion Sanders, a personal shot at Deion Sanders, by the way, and say on his radio show, my mother told me when I talk to a grown-up, I take off my sunglasses and my hat, which of course Deion, has been wearing a hat and sunglasses for his entire life. And if you know anything about Deion, he teaches and preaches to his kids to be respectful, where, they're not allowed to wear slides to class. They got to sit in the front row. They can't wear, wife beaters around to the classes. He wants them all to be respectful. Sit in the front of the class, all that stuff. He teaches, he goes way above and beyond, in my opinion, teaches them about fatherhood, not being a baby daddy. Very religious, teaches all those great values. So I love that about Deion. And for this guy to take a personal shot at him over something like that is just, uncalled for, number one, and stupid. I mean, I ran right to my website, my bookie, and said, pound that, because he's going to make it personal and he's going to run up the score because he's going to have a chance to do that because Colorado State ain't that good.
No.
So
they're not good at all. And
it was started at 21.5. It's now up to 23, and it's going to keep going.
I feel like it's going to get up to 30 here eventually. And you saw how that team responded last week, especially Shador to Nebraska and Matt Rule. So that they're going to come out. We got an update on the Bucs here situation. According to J.C. Allen of SI, Bucs cornerback Carlton Davis was not at the media portion of practice. As reported yesterday, he's dealing with a turf toe injury, unlikely to play on Sunday. In addition, Kalijah Cansey was also not practicing, making him unlikely to play as well. Christian Itzian was at practice, shedding the black non-contact jersey. Appears to be back practicing normal and should be available for the Bucs on Sunday. So that's your latest right there. Major loss, big-time loss for Carlton Davis being out for this game. I mean, I'm concerned with DJ Moore. I get it, you got Jamel Dean, but Carlton Davis over the last years, he's a top corner, but he's also a guy that's shown that he's missed all kinds of games, misses at least 2 to 3 games a year, and here we go again.
Yeah.
Something is not good. It's a lingering thing, too, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, that lingers, because he's your top man-to-man corner. But Todd Bowles has a lot of different defenses he calls because he feels like he can leave Carlton out on an island. Jamel's going to have to step up and play that particular role. That's okay. That's why you pay 2 really, really good corners. But now, is it D. Delaney now that steps up? Who's going to have to step up and play more snaps? So, yep, it's a concern, no question about it. But the Bears will have their issues as well. So it's an attrition league. You got to deal with it. And I still have faith in Todd Bowles that he'll be able to deal with it.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe you see some Zion McCollum, who on special teams, if he plays like he did on special teams, you got to play.
He had a good week.
Yeah, very good week. So, yeah, we'll see.
All right. Other stuff I wanted to get to before we get to Corey Long. We've got Travis Kelce. Looks like he's trending towards playing this week. That's an interesting game. You got the Patriots and the Dolphins. I like the Patriots in this spot. I think the Dolphins, they're flashy. They scored a lot of points in week 1. That Belichick's going to take away. Belichick ain't going to allow Tyreek Hill to go for 200. I can't see that happening. So, they've got other weapons. I get it, but we'll see with the Dolphins and the Patriots. That'll be an interesting game. Jets at the Cowboys, one of the biggest spreads of the weekend. I love the Cowboys in this spot. Zach Wilson going on the road. No, not so good. Coming off a big win. I get it, but not so good. What else we got this weekend as far as the NFL goes? This is an interesting game. The Cardinals and the Giants. The Giants have to go out west after getting their ass handed to them. And the Cardinals can flat out rush the passer. They had 5 sacks in week 1, and that Giants offensive line is hot garbage. So that's another game I'll be watching in terms of the point spread. All right, we got to take a quick break because we got to get Corey Long on the phone. Quick break. We will come back. We'll talk to Corey Long, talk some college football. Where Florida-Tennessee game is going to be a whale of a football game. A lot of people putting pressure on Billy Napier saying, you got to beat a rival. You got to do something. You got to beat somebody of note. So we'll talk about that and some other college football notes. And, we're going to talk about Deion with Corey Long. So stay with us. Quick break.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
So you're experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had. It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, it's big college football weekend. Cannot wait for this one. Starts early with FSU and Boston College, and then in prime time, 7 o'clock, it's Tennessee, number 11 Tennessee, visiting your unranked Florida Gators. And we'll talk some college football with Corey Long. Good morning to you. How are you, my friend?
Doing well. I'm surprised you didn't mention the bloodletting that will happen in between those two games.
We're going to talk about that. Listen
to him, because I was just going to ask about that. I mean, USF, Alabama. I've been trying to be very optimistic about this, Corey.
Why?
You know,
Not me, Corey. I'm with you.
Don't even try to think of. Here's the thing: had the way Bama lost last week to a Texas team that frankly pushed them around, Quinn Ewers challenged their secondary, beat them deep, didn't let them get away with any coverage bust. You think Nick is letting up this week on those guys?
No.
It is a total name your score. It is an angry. It might not even be an angry Bama team. It's an angry Nick Saban coming out. So they better play angry just so they don't have to run. He might make that. They might win that game 63-7. You'll see those guys doing gassers after the game. So just believe me. Don't be optimistic. Just hope it ends. Just hope it ends and no one gets hurt. That's the main thing. You know? Look at it like a preseason game. Just like hopefully no one gets hurt. We'll move on.
Our prognosticator here said 69-0. Our gambling aficionado here the Greeks, at 69-0. Do you think they can actually stay in this game for the first half? No chance. See, I'm just fighting a losing battle here, but I agree with you. I completely agree with you.
They will wish they looked as good as the New York Giants did.
Who runs it up more, Saban or Dion?
I don't know. Dion. See, I think Dion can only run it up, but so much because it's just. I just don't. I don't know if they can put like 60 on them. I think Alabama can put 60 on you. I don't know if they will. Yeah. Like I feel like 52 is like minimum for Bama. Whereas I think Colorado might hit they might hit like the mid 40s. And then, you just eventually get exhausted. The way the style of football Colorado plays is tiring. You can't, that's a pace that is just hard to hold up for 60 minutes, where I think they're going to figure out how to get physical again and get a lot of chunk plays through running. And they're going to be getting turnovers and they're going to be angry. Jeez.
And that's the thing about this Alabama game is if, the hallmark of this offense for South Florida is how fast they can go, right? The goalish tempo. I mean, do they really want to go tempo against Alabama in this game when they're down 37-0 at half? Is that what they're going to do? They want to go tempo?
You do what you do. You do what you do, man.
I don't know about that.
You do what you do. It's one game in 12, and it's the lead. It's not an important game. It's not a conference game. You really just don't want to get Bryce Brown hurt.
Right, exactly. That's why I'm thinking. I'm not sure if you want to try to run 15 plays.
Unlike John Reese Plumlee, UCF guy who I don't know what the hell he was doing at the end of that game with that half slide that damn near broke his leg off. You just tell Bryce Brown, listen, you see those three techs in your face. You do like Geno Smith. You yell, "Oh my God!" and you throw that thing.
What have you seen from Brown at quarterback that's encouraging for some USF fans?
Oh, I see a tremendous amount of athleticism and talent. I think he can run. I think he's going to get better as a passer. I think the passing tree is, still pretty, they're still keeping it pretty limited in the throw game. But I feel like he's definitely a guy that, as he gets more reps, and people forget it wasn't like he got a lot of reps last year till late in the season. So he's still very much early in his career. And I feel like by the second half of the season, you'll really start to see the things that he's getting comfortable with and the guys that are getting comfortable around him. It's a tough situation because not only is he, young in his development, but you got a lot of new skilled talent back there. Guys transferred out, new guys come in. So it takes a while to build that chemistry. But I love what I saw out of him in terms of just his playmaking ability. Got to protect the football a little better. I mean, Western Kentucky, that was a winnable game. You throw that pick in the end zone. You have the guy just snatch the ball out of your hands for a defensive score. You don't do those things, and you don't Kirk Cousins the game, and all of a sudden, you have a chance to win it a little bit more. So those are things that come with time. He's a young guy. He's a redshirt freshman still, right? So he's a kid.
Yeah.
So
I would agree. He's definitely shown some flashes, and they've got something to build with there. I think that's probably why the reason he got the job really is because the Golish knows he can build with it instead of Yeah.
Yeah, new staff. You want to have a guy that you got maybe 2 years with that you can really build around. And I think he's shown you that you can build around him. I mean, he's a good looking big kid. He's not your typical what you're seeing out of a lot of G5 like non-transfer quarterbacks where they're a little small and like he's a big, he's a kid that when you look at him physically, you're still surprised he's probably not. He didn't get at least one P5 school to really bite on him hard, because you would think he's a kid you normally stash for a year or two, and you really can develop him at that level. But at this level, he plays a lot, so good for him.
All right, we got Florida and Tennessee, and these Florida fans are going bananas. They're like, we got to win this one. We haven't beaten, he hasn't beaten a rival yet. He hasn't beaten anybody yet. I'm like, well, he ain't beating Tennessee. I mean, crazy things happen in the swamp, especially when it's Tennessee, Florida. I get it. But I just don't know if this Florida team has the horses just yet to compete with Tennessee. What do you think?
I think it's on record. I think I have Florida winning on record now. I think if you look at Google it somewhere, I got it, and I do, and I looked at it, and I always believe that styles will make fights,
right?
And I like how Florida matches up with Tennessee. I think they can lean on them. I think they can run the football. They can cut down on possessions. You got new clock rules. Tennessee is at its best when they are playing, even if they're in shootouts, if they're just getting up, like last year's game, up and down the field, big plays. But if you force them to play a patient game, you get a guy like Joe Milton, who hasn't really proven anything. You put him in a tough road situation. Maybe he gives you a couple. And I can see Florida, they can keep this game a patient game, kill some clock, run the ball. Don't put Graham Mertz in really any difficult situations. Don't be afraid to punt. The one thing, as I rewatch the Utah game especially, you look at things and it's like, if they would not have rushed some things, which are going to happen in week one, if they would not have really panicked in some situations, Utah didn't do a lot to them. Defensively, they're a good team. They are probably an athletic 3-tech away from being a very, very good defense. They've got a good back seven. They've got Prince, long last name, is really good on the edge. They're just missing some dynamic piece in the center of that defensive line. And offensive, they got a big offensive line. They were been a little sloppy, but I think they can run the ball because they've got talent at the running back position. And it's just figuring out how to keep Graham Mertz out of too many dangerous situations and telling him not to put himself in bad situations. He's a guy that has to understand you can throw the ball away, you can punt, you can play field position. This is not a Florida team that has to score a lot. They just have to play clean football. And I'm really bullish on them in this game. One, I don't know that Tennessee's a decent team. They had a good season last year until late in the season when they got blown up by South Carolina. I don't know that they're a great road team. I don't know that half the guys in this team weren't even born the last time they won at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
Yeah, 2003. It's been a while.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, and I feel like I'm kind of on the Gator fans bit. Well, if there was I'm not saying they win this game and they become a 9-10 win team. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think if you look at their schedule, if there was a game that you would kind of point out as a quote-unquote big game, this is probably the most winnable of them. They ain't beating Georgia.
Right.
I don't think they're probably not beating LSU. But
and they're certainly not beating FSU.
Yeah, no. But this is the game that I think that they can look at and say, we can win. This is a team that I don't see. Tennessee hasn't shown me. They look decent against Virginia. Didn't do much against Austin Peay. Really was kind of a sloppy game. So I just say you play your style of football. You be physical. You run the football. You force Tennessee to play your style of game, and I think that you can catch them in a few mistakes. I don't think they can play a patient game.
Corey Long joining us here, writes for Walter Football, also covers the Bolts, and they're going to get back to action here in just a few days. But did you give me a pick on the Colorado State game? Because I ran to the window and bet laid the points, the 23 points, because I think they're going to roll it up.
Yeah, I think they can hit the late four. I think it's like a 49-17, 49-20. Shadur will have 5 or 6 more. Colorado State gave up, I think, 474 passing yards in their first game against Washington State. So yeah, they ain't stopping nobody.
No.
So we're still, Weaver and Horn are gonna, and I wouldn't even play Travis Hunter that much at receivers. I think Weaver and Horn can just light these guys up for days themselves.
Yeah, because I think they got Oregon the next week, don't they? They're coming up pretty soon.
Yeah. Oregon and USC, and those are some meaty big boys up front that are going to really push them. But
that's what. Yeah, that will.
I like where they're going now. I like the team. I like the way they're playing. I like the way they played last week when things didn't come easy, and they stuck with it. And they eventually, Jeff Sims made some mistakes, and they finally took advantage of them. And then you saw. They could do some things in the pass rush. Those are the games that impressed me is when they had all those expectations and it was 0-0, 5 minutes left in the second quarter. And then, once some things started working, Sean Lewis started getting some plays rolling, and they warmed up, and they had the maturity to kind of wait for the game to come to them.
Yeah, that was very impressive.
The team was pretty well coached.
All right, partner, great to talk to you. As always, tell the folks how they can get your content.
Oh, yes. Hit me up on X, at Corey Long, CreyLong. Or is it X, formerly known as Twitter? I think that's the official name, right? X, formerly known as Twitter.
Right. You are correct, sir. Great follow. Follow Corey Long. Thanks, partner. Enjoy the games this weekend.
You too. Take care.
Appreciate you, Corey.
And we're going to be watching some baseball as well this weekend. It's hard in football season to do it, but if there's ever a time, it's this weekend because it's Orioles and Rays, and they're already off to a good start. We bring in our good friend Rich Hollenberg from Valley Sports Sun. Good morning to you, Rich. How are you?
JP, how are you? I see you classed up the joint a little bit with Peter Blake joining the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that.
I like it so much that I'm trying to do my best Peter Blake beard impersonation. Right?
I see that. You get a little salt and pepper going there. Absolutely.
What happens when you have more than one series off during the season?
Well, I'm glad you're back. Glad you're back for this big series with the Orioles. Nice start last night. Bullpen was phenomenal. They're getting a lot of timely hits from Randy Arozarena against the Orioles. Shocking development there. And Luke Raley getting a bomb that we haven't seen in a while. So great start last night. Let's start there and talk about that game last night.
Last night felt to me like a playoff game. I mean, Joe Davis and John Smoltz were calling it, and say what you want about they're biased or not. I personally don't delve into that conversation at all. But it felt like a playoff game. The one thing I will say, and I'm not trying to poke the bear here, but it didn't seem like it was a sellout crowd.
No.
And why not? I mean, Orioles fans have had zero to cheer for in the last almost decade. And I know it's going to be a sellout crowd tonight. Adam Jones is getting his number retired or whatever that is, and he deserves that. But come on, a Thursday night when nothing else is going, the Ravens aren't playing on Thursday Night Football. Like, come on, Baltimore. I expect more from that at Camden Yards. But it did feel like a playoff atmosphere, and it was played like a playoff game. We saw really impressive pitching at the start with a little help from the home umpire strike zone, and then we saw clutch hitting toward the end from Luke Raley. It was really exciting, not only to see the Rays play as well as they did, but to overcome some adversity. They didn't help themselves all that much with a couple of plays in the infield, but they overcame that adversity, and the bullpen has just been as good or more better than you could have asked for.
With that being said, you talked about playoff atmosphere. Does it seem like we're getting October Randy back here? Because it certainly seems like he's starting to heat up here, Rich.
Well, I have summoned October Randy at the start of August. If you look at, and I was saying this all through the month, and thank goodness it proved to be accurate. Randy's not the only hot bat from the month of August going forward. Basically, everyone got hot because everyone was frigid in the month of July. But if you look at Randy Arozarena's career numbers, his best month in the regular season is August. And he showed that again. He was a 300 hitter in August. And he was using that good plate discipline that made him an all-star in the first half of the season again, drawing walks, getting on base, not just swinging out of his ass. Can I say that on JP's
You
show?
sure can.
Yes,
Absolutely.
you can. Yes.
Highly encouraged.
So
Highly encouraged.
that was great. So now we are halfway through September. We're 2 weeks away from October, Randy. Let's just hope that this 4-game series in his favorite stadium in baseball helps push that narrative forward, because it certainly did in game 1.
You know, it's interesting as the Rays heat up, and they're used to these games, right? They're used to playoff baseball. They're used to meaningful games in September. You know who's not? The Orioles. And now they've lost 3 in a row and scored 5 runs. Are they feeling it a little? Are they getting their ass a little tight, as we can say here on?
I would not disagree with that. Again, something that I pointed out as everyone a month ago was like, oh, this series in Camden Yards is going to decide the whole year. I don't buy that narrative. I mean, even if the Rays – look, I said going in, the Rays can't win the division in Baltimore this weekend, but they could lose this weekend. So winning 1 game, that checks a box for sure. But I also knew that recent past history is potentially indicative of future performance. Last year was kind of the come on year for the Baltimore Orioles. They were shitty. They were bad in the beginning of the season. And then all of a sudden they started rising up, and everyone's like, ooh, look at this Baltimore team. Maybe they're ahead of schedule. Maybe they're going to be the surprise team. And then they faded down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to forget that because they were insignificant in the last month of last season. They completely folded. This year, I said, this team has gotten used to winning in May, June, July, August. I still want to see them win in September and in the postseason. Then Felix Bautista goes out. He's the best closer in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
He's not available anymore. The Rays played 3 one-run games with the Baltimore Orioles this year and lost all of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge factor. Another thing, and I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, when Shane McClanahan went under the knife a while back, I said, and the Rays didn't miss a beat, really. Right. I said to anyone who would listen, take the best pitcher and the best player off any team in baseball and see how they would respond. The Rays have not missed a beat when that happened to them. So we're going to see what happens to the Baltimore Orioles now, even though there's only 2 weeks of baseball left. The door is open for the Rays to win this division still.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I will say this, though. You guys had a graphic up at some point last week that was a little scary. It was like, you know, when Glasnow was pitching, and he'll go what, Saturday, right?
Yes.
Got Eflin and Glasnow. And his ERA is like 2.4, and the rest of the starters were up around 4.7 for the last month and a half. Now, obviously, Savali was good last night. I thought he pitched really, really well last night. Got a couple of bad breaks. And Eflin's been, you know, we need a better Eflin for certainly tonight and for the rest of the way. Are you confident that they can do that?
Zach Eflin, JP, is not necessarily the heartbeat of this club.
Right.
He is the conscience of this clubhouse. I think in the most karmic sense of baseball that it's going to come around to benefit him and the team. The one thing I would disagree with you on is I think, you know, every pitcher in baseball, if you're going to make 30 starts in a season, that means you're healthy, and knock wood that Zach Eflin, besides missing 2 starts early on in the season, has been healthy. I think he is going to be at his best from now going forward. And even when he wasn't at his best, it wasn't all that bad. With a 30-start season, I've had many experts tell me, you take 5 games and you throw them out because you pitched out of your mind. You take another 5 games and you throw them out because you were hot garbage. It's what do you do in the other 20? So we've seen Zach Eflin struggle. We've seen Zach Eflin strike out 12, walk 1.
Yeah.
Now I think we're going to see what are we going to get the rest of the way. I think the next 2 or 3 starts that we see to close out the regular season, my expectation is that we're going to get a good enough Zach Eflin to get wins like we need. The most important number that Rays fans need to look to is 6 or even 7, dare I say. Zach, Savali, if best case scenario, and certainly Glasnow need to go 6, not 7 innings to save this bullpen. Kevin Cash didn't want to have to use Colin Poche, Sean Armstrong, Pete Fairbanks last night. It was a tie game. He ended up two.
Yep.
This could be an issue as we move down the stretch here. If Zach Eflin and Tyler Glasnow specifically can go 6 1/3, 6 2/3, 7 innings strong, that sets things up beautifully for what has been the best bullpen in baseball.
What do you see from Taj Bradley? Because it certainly seems like, look, he has all the potential in the world, one of the Rays' top prospects, but for some reason, Rich, when he gets to that 4th or 5th inning, he seems to run into a roadblock. What do you see from this kid? Do you think he can continue to improve going into the postseason for this Rays team?
I think he can, Pete. The one thing I would say, and Doug and I talked about this on our pregame show the last time he had his turn in the rotation. It's really hard to criticize or break down Taj Bradley. He's 22 freaking years old.
Right.
Should not be in this position. Granted, top prospect, yes. Electric stuff, yes. But anything good that that the Rays get out of Taj Bradley should be looked at as gravy. The one thing that concerns me as a old fart baseball fan is the fact that he finishes his starts and the first thing that he wants to say is, I did my job. I went 5 innings. That's not Taj's fault. That's his pitching coach. And I'm not even criticizing Kyle or Kevin Cash or anybody. What they want out of Taj Bradley is 5 good innings. Just give us 5, dude. That's all we need.
Yep.
And I buy into that. But I don't want that to become Taj Bradley's mentality the rest of the time he starts this year and certainly going forward. Now, next year in spring training, they're probably going to pull him aside and be like, okay, young man.
We need more, yeah.
We need more. And here's how we're going to get that from you. Right now, they're not going to put that onus on him. Remember, it was 15 years ago when David Price got the call up. Did they ask him to go 6 innings? No, he was a reliever. He came out of the bullpen and pitched an inning maybe. So what's being asked of Taj, and it was done with Matt Moore. Also, Matt Moore had a couple of great starts down the stretch his rookie year. The precedence is there, but Taj is a number 5 starter right now. So if he can continue to, in his words, do his job, I think the Rays are going to manage that the way that they plan, and that should be okay. But again, that goes back to what we were talking about a couple of minutes ago. They need Glasnow, Eflin, Savali to go 6+, hopefully 7 innings, so that the bullpen is rested enough to pick up the extra innings when Taj Bradley takes the hill.
Really quick, Rich, Zach Littell, how surprised are you with his development? Because once again, it's another pitcher that the Rays get off the scrap heap. He's basically a bullpen guy, and he, the last couple of starts, even the whole year, I mean, he's been a hard luck loser. But the last 2 starts, 8 innings, 7 quality innings. I mean, that's all you can ask for, especially from a bullpen guy, right?
Yeah, Zach Littell is just another example in a long line of examples of the mastery of the Rays pitching staff or pitching coaches. Kyle Snyder, Kevin Cash, the front office, they find guys like this. I used to call them the island of misfit toys. The bullpen is a bunch of cast-offs, a bunch of nobody want guys, a bunch of DFA guys, a bunch of Rule 5 guys that nobody else had wanted. But the Rays were like, we like one thing about this guy. And I'm jokingly saying that, we talk about Zach Eflin as being one of the most efficient pitchers in baseball. Well, Zach Littell is doing his best Zach Eflin imitation. I mean, you talk about walks and hits per innings pitched. Zach Eflin leads the big leagues in that category. The Rays pitching staff leads the league in that category. And Zach Littell is giving Zach Eflin a run for his money. All they need him to do is pump the strike zone and let your defense work for you. And he's done that, especially the last couple of starts, in spades. He has been outstanding. Again, you temper your expectations because this is a pleasant surprise. We've seen a couple of starts from Zach Littell where he's gotten roughed up a little bit. You can't be too critical of him because going into this season as early as a couple of months ago, no one could have figured that he would be your number 4 starter. But now he is your legit number 4 starter. When the playoffs start, Zach Littell is coming out of the bullpen. They need 3 starters in the playoffs, and they've got him, right? Now, Taj Bradley, Zach Littell are emergency arms out of the bullpen. And the experience that both of those starters are getting now is going to pay them dividends come playoff time.
All right, Rich, great stuff as always, my friend. Give us the schedule for this week because I'm trying to figure out with my football schedule. I got to watch baseball. I got to watch the pregame show. I got to watch the postgame.
We got you covered, JP.
Okay.
Seminoles are on early on Saturday.
That's right.
You don't have to worry about that. Rays baseball is a primetime Saturday game. It even helps for the USF fans who are going to watch them beat Alabama on Saturday because that's a 3:30 kickoff. So we've got Florida State football at noon. We've got USF football at 3:30, and then we've got Rays baseball in prime time, a 7 o'clock start. We'll be on with the show at 6:30.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thanks, Rich. Have a great day, my friend. Have a great weekend. Let's get that sweep. Love it.
Appreciate you, Rich. There you go. Good stuff. Yes. He basically mapped it out for you. No excuse why you can't watch baseball.
No, we got it all tonight in prime time, and then we got that on Saturday. Gator fans will have to watch both going on, but that's
I'd rather watch the Rays than the Gators. I'm sorry.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, we know where to watch, and that'll be the patio. So if you are wondering where to watch Rays baseball or the Gators, of course, that's the home of the Tampa Gator Club, or the Bucs on Sunday. It's the patio. They will have drink specials going on. We will be there Monday night for a Monday night football party from 5 to 7 o'clock. So come join us for that. Great show today, Peter.
Thank you,
sir. Thanks to all of our guests, Corey Long, Rich Hollenberg, Pat Burnham, and Samar Ali. If you missed anything, go back and check it out. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Apple and Spotify and every other podcast network, our YouTube channel as well, all that stuff. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go Bucs, go Rays, and we will see you on Sunday afternoon, post-game show, live from Raymond James Stadium. We'll see you then.